Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I think we see one person.
When does she bring it? Every day.
Every day.
How often does she bring it? Every day.
Every day.
Knitting, crafting, singing, even crochet.
Every day.
When does she bring it? Every day. I bring it every day.
Every
I
day.
bring it every day.
Every day.
I bring it every day.
Every day.
I bring it every day. When does she bring it? Every day. How often does she bring it?
Every day.
Knitting, crafting, singing,
Every
crochet.
day.
When does she bring it?
Every day.
Cooking up something hot on Friday night. Come and stop by. I bring it every day.
Every day.
All right, all right. Let's see how this goes today. Welcome, welcome in. All right. And this is our topic for this morning for the Motivational Monday. So, my name is Kelly. This is the I Bring It Every Day Motivation Monday show. And we got Tina Bailey's here. Hello. And we got Miss Suzanne. Thanks for coming. I thought that was Suzanne. Yay. All right, now trying something a little different. So we'll see how this goes. All right. Let's see here. Want to do this. Gotta remove this. Okay. Yes. Gotta remove that. Okay, there we go. All right, now. Good to see you. There we go. So this is what we're talking about today. Positivity. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit more. So, how are you guys? Long time no see. Saw you yesterday. Yes. Here we go. Positivity. So let's talk a little bit about positivity and why I'm talking about positivity today. All right. Here goes. Every day. Yes, we're going to try this every day. Not every day, but for a few days, a couple days out of the week here. Let me see. I'm going to play with this layout. Let me just see. Does that help at all? No. All right. I'm going to leave it there. All right. So here's the deal. What is positivity? Do you guys have any you can, if you type in the chat, tell me what you think it is. This is real simple. This is not that deep, but and I'll tell you why I was thinking about this. Okay, so here we go. I had an interesting experience at the flea market the other day, and I want to share with everybody and kind of tell you why this topic came on my heart this morning. Woo! Yeah, good to see you. All right, so positivity. Let me find my little dictionary here. Is hang on. Okay. So it's the state of being positive. So it's a noun, right? And that's what positivity is. It's real simple. Now, what does that mean? But what does that really mean? Okay. Yeah. So it's the practice. Well, so the official Oxford definition is the practice of being or tendency to be positive or optimistic in attitude, right? And so that's a mouthful. I'm going to read that again. The practice of being or tendency to be positive or optimistic in attitude. Woo, that's a mouthful. So here's the deal. Um, what does that mean, and how do you put that into practice? I guess that's the question. So I always say, it's the I Bring It Every Day channel. It's a safe space for people to hang out and talk and express their opinions. I don't have a problem if your opinion is different from mine because that makes it more interesting, actually. And then, but I always say, let's start the week off on a positive note, right? And not that I was saying that in a hollow way, but upliftment. Yes, I like that. Yes. There we go. And positivity is upliftment. Yep. There you go. Yep. So that's for sure. Now, here's the thing. The thing with positivity is, and I've come to realize this over maybe the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, is that like everything in life, you do have choices, so a lot of it is a choice. You have to kind of say, all right, well, like in life you're always going to have things that don't work out or whatever, for whatever reason, sometimes things just don't work out. So you have to kind of say, how do you react? And then, then the question is, how do you react? Is it going to be, in a positive way? Or are you going to say, woe's me, which is a negative way? Like, how are you going to react to this thing? Right. And so the thing that you have to realize is that a lot of necessary most things aren't always for you. So sometimes, things won't work out. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to kind of say, okay, so like, maybe you failed a test. I'm just giving an example of that. You prepared, but you didn't understand something and you didn't pass the test, right? So then you have to go back and you have to make some adjustments to figure out like what's going on, right? And so this is the whole thing. So it's a negative situation that just happened, but then you have to sort of do the work to make the choice to be positive, and then do the work to fix it or whatever it is. Right, right, right. Yep. Let's see. Okay, a bright feeling, nice. Yes, a light feeling, absolutely. And it's a choice. It really is. I think that's the point. Uh-oh, and have Miss Charlotte's here. Good morning, Kelly and Chat. Yes. Let's see. Philippian foresight 8. Let me see. Philippian 4 verse 8. Philippians. Okay, 4 verse 8. Let me look that up. Because I am not exactly a Bible scholar. I mean, I've read the Bible, but I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's check this out. Philippians 4:8. Hold on. Gotta find out what it says here. Let's see. Yes, Philippians. Okay, gotcha. I think I know which one this is, but let's see. Let's see. 4:8. All right, we're gonna get that. Let's see what Tina's talking about. So yes, I'm gonna find the King James version. I sort of understand that. Okay. Philippians 4:8. It says, think on noble, just thoughts. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see. So I'll read it just as it's written here. So finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. So positive thinking. I love it. All right, so I'm going to write this on here. Hopefully I can forget how to spell Philippians. Oh, it's only one I, two P's. Yeah, Philippians, two P's, one I, two P's, 4:8. So this is basically, yeah, thinking positive thinking. So in other words, it's try to focus on these positive things. Yep. And so some of the things, that's one I there. Yeah. One L, one I, two P's. Okay, here we go. Yep. So anyway, so it says, so things that are just, honest, pure, lovely, and are of good report. And if there's any virtue, wow. Okay. Think on these things. I like it, Tina. All right, Tina. I'm gonna leave that right there. So let's see. He has said just, lovely. Let's see. What was the other one? Just, lovely, honest. This isn't the order, but these are the basic things. Honest. Yep. Oh, honest. I said honesty, but honest. Let's see. What was the other one? Just, honest, pure. Woo. Yes. So pure. Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. Good report. Yeah. So this is good. So these are the things you think of. Good report. Good report. Sorry, I'm squishing all this in here. But there it is. Okay. So that's thinking positively. I love it. Let's leave that in there. Yep. Positive things. All right. Now that's our group. Yes, girl. That's our group of crafters. Let me see bud files I see popped in. Yes. There we go. So that's what we want to think of. Positive things. Now, so like I said, so the whole thing is, how you have your heart set on certain things in life. and maybe they don't work out. So then you have to kind of say, all right, what can I do to do something? Either you have to do something else, or you have to change direction. And you really can't do anything if you're in a negative mindset, because it seems like, and I can't remember where I've read this, but they say if you have a positive mindset, it helps you get through the day. And they say that there's a couple of let me see if I can find this thing. I saw a couple of studies where they say that like a positive mindset really helps you. Let's see, how did they phrase it? So this was a 2018 study published in the Journal of Aging Research, and they said that having a positive mental attitude was linked to decreased mortality over a 35-year period. And the people, they say, that had more of a positive mindset ate well, exercised, didn't smoke, got quality sleep. And so the thing that they're in it says less stress, things like that. So it's really important that you have to avoid um the negative stuff. And I'll just give you just a little bit of transparency. When I was working, my last wasn't my last job, it was my next to my last job, got really stressful. And one of the things that they say is that you get this cortisol. Now, I'm not a doctor, but cortisol is the stress hormone in your body. It's the fight or flight. So, example, like if you see a bear, your body's going to go into fight mode or flight, just to protect yourself. You know what I mean? So it's that protection hormone in your body. And the thing that happens is, and I've read this, I cannot remember where I read this, it's been many years, but what they said was, if you have too much of this fight or flight hormone in your body, you get this big belly, right? And it all sort of, like fat, like sticks to your body and all this other stuff. And it was so interesting because I noticed once the stress levels got turned up on my job, a lot of us started getting really heavy. Not, and we weren't necessarily eating more. We were aging, obviously, but we all got this cortisol, so you get that, you know, big belly around the midsection, but you're skinny kind of otherwise. It's weird, and yeah, from the stress. So you have to relieve that stress, and being positive does help you, relieve the stress. Yeah, that says good rapport. You can barely read that. But these are the things, let me see if I can get this here. The things that are of good report. Yeah. So that's awesome. Yep. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but these are the things that we got to work on, and like I said, it's definitely a choice, because, you know, doing, being positive is not the natural go-to for most people. So it's something that you have to practice. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's see. So I saw Miss Renee. Well, Sonia's here. I'm gonna say hi. And we got Miss Renee. And true story. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Isn't that crazy? Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, good question, Tina. Are we gonna focus on the fertilizer, or are you gonna admire the beautiful blossom? That's right. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's see. Did I miss anybody else who got the bud files? I meant to say hello. Yes, yes. There we go. Yeah, so that's the deal. So that's kind of all I'm talking about today. So as I say, I always say, like, positivity. And then what else can you do to maintain the positive thing? Well, they say you have to kind of get up and do it every day. So it's that everyday thing. You can't, it's not just like a one-time thing. You have to really practice that. And so that's what I've been sort of challenging people to do, is to practice the positivity. And it does get you through life. And so they're saying that, in this study, that decrease mortality, over 35 years. So what can you do? So they say, try to pay attention to your thoughts, like where you're going every day. Not saying that you got to meditate on everything all day long, but if you find yourself going down the negative path, you got to turn it. You got to turn it. And one of the things that they talked about was writing in a gratitude journal. I have never really done it. I did it back in the day. I don't know if you remember when I watched Oprah. I'm not an Oprah watcher anymore, but Oprah had this lady on who had this gratitude journal that, of course they were pushing it on her show, and a lot of people were buying it. And I think I did it for about a year, and then I think I burned out. Like something about that was a lot for me. Um, so I don't. So I always say, try to make little steps, and you don't want to burn yourself out, because that's the thing that I think. Like I'm around people who are really high functioning, high excelling people. So they definitely go hard in everything they do. And for me, sometimes I have to back down and go, girl, take a breath for a minute. And I can't keep up the pace of other people. So that's the other thing too, is like try not to keep the pace of other people. You got to do your own pace, whatever it is, because you can burn yourself out. And I know, like to be perfectly transparent. So my husband he's the type of person that if he gets interested in something, he will burn the heck out of it and then never do it again. And so sometimes I always say to him, "Hey, I appreciate your excitement, but you've got to slow it down a little bit, because he runs, he kind of takes stuff and he runs. And I'm kind of the opposite, where I probably overthink things like that. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. Yeah. So let me get back to the chat real quick. I'll take a little break here for a second, see what people are saying. But that's really the bottom line is, what can positivity do to you? Let's see. Yeah, you've got to deposit the positive, the see Tina's saying, into the positive bank. Yep. Yes. And oh yes, yes, yes. And then Renee says, "Oh, for her, it's physical exercise that keeps me emotionally strong." Yes. And like I said, that whole thing with the cortisol was real. Like I didn't realize we were under that much stress. And unfortunately, I'm kind of I've been of the well. So anyway, I was low in the pecking order in my family. I'll just put it that way. And so I took a lot of stuff, so I got used to taking stuff. So for me, that wasn't like a shocker. But for a lot of the people that I was working for, I mean, we were so micromanaged at the end that it was so crazy. Like, you sneeze wrong, there's demerit, it's like if you do this, demerit. If you do that, you know what I mean? And you can't live that way because that's so negative, right? But anyway, but the gratitude journal's good. Yeah, Renee said the exercise is good. And they also say positive self-talk. So let's see. So you got to make sure that you give yourself I keep saying this, you got to give yourself grace. You know, if something doesn't work out, that just means you're not going in the right direction. So you may have to turn or pivot or whatever, So that's okay. But you got to give yourself positive self-talk. You can say, "Hey, this didn't work out. Let me try something else." And it's really that simple. Yep. And everybody's saying hi. Yes. Oh, here we go. Yes. And this is for sure, Suzanne. And I always tell my husband, I'm like, dude, slow and steady wins the race. Yes. And he does. I've seen him burn himself out of a lot of things, and I go, "Ooh, it's too much," for me anyway. I'm a little more chill in that regard, but yeah. So, oh, so that you can have it to withdraw from. Yeah, I got you, Tina. Yep. You got to dispose. Yep. Oh, okay. So I'm going to put your two comments together. So you said you got to deposit into the positive bank so that you can withdraw from it, I guess, at another time. Yep, that's true. That's true. Yep. And so once again, it's always like it gets back to self-care. You got to take care of yourself. You know, you really have to whatever it takes to keep yourself grounded. You know what I mean? Exercise, meditation, praying, whatever it is, you have to do it. And it's okay to do a little bit throughout the day, because a lot of like I said, people feel like they're not able to take breaks, but I really think for me, I have to take little breaks throughout the day, and I don't even know how many times I take a break. But that was something that I started doing when that job got real crazy, you know, and I would sort of talk with other people who were pretty positive and at least could put everything into perspective, because you know how there's always people out there who have a nice who can put everything in perspective, because a lot of times, there's a lot of madness in around you, and sometimes people's intentions are not the best for you, so you have to sort of find your way around that. Yeah. So, but like I said, you really have to do the best that you can to take care of yourself. So once again, I was talking about food, sleep, um work those hobbies, like we all do the hobbies, which I think helps us all. So that's really important. Um yeah, and so that's kind of the message really in a nutshell. Yeah, you got to nurture yourself. That's right. Yep. I love it. Yep. And that's the thing. And it's okay to nurture yourself, because like I said, as women, we always take care of everybody else, and sometimes not everybody takes care of us. So we have to keep that in mind. Yeah. So there it is. But that was kind of on my mention. But I'll tell you this story real quick, and this is what got me thinking. So anyway, um, a friend of mine and I went to. So I had some friends come out of town, and I took them to my favorite flea market down there in Pennsylvania, Ephrata, Pennsylvania, and we ran into this lady. Yeah, we ran into this lady. Well, anyway, so they had all these wine. I don't know why. Like all of a sudden now, you can sell wine in Pennsylvania. You never used to be able to sell wine outside of a wine store, because it's like this. It's really like monitored in a state. It's state run in a weird way, and I don't even understand like why it is what it is. But it's I've always I've lived in Pennsylvania most of my life, so I that's kind of my understanding of how things are done. And so anyway, we went to a couple of these stands, because now wineries are popping up everywhere in Pennsylvania. So let's see. So anyway, so we were walking through the flea market. And I'm gonna put the things that will help out your positivity. Yeah. And I'm gonna just say choose it. So anyway, so we go to this stand, and this lady is from a very I'll just say she's from an aggressive state. And she came up to me kind of weird. Like it was just like the whole energy was just off, right? And well, anyway, so the bottom line was, she insulted all four of us. Well, three of us, three out of four people that were at the stand, right? And I said to myself, if you're trying to sell a product, should you be negative and insult the people that are coming to view your product? Anyway, so that's what happened. So then I was thinking, come on, like you have to do better. You have to find ways. I don't know how you can make a living selling stuff to people and insult the people that come to your store. Yeah, it's very interesting, which was very, very negative. But, and we all just kind of like said, well, let's go. And we left. We didn't say goodbye. We didn't say hi. We were like, oh, we're out here. But anyway, that's what happened. So that's what got me thinking about the positivity today. And I just wanted to let you know about that. Yep. Yes. Let's see. Hobbies. Yep. Oh, and the cats. I like this. We got so blessed. Good morning. Yep. So we're just talking about ways that we can, stay positive. So Renee said exercise. Hope I can spell. Yep. You can pray, meditate. Yeah. But this is the main thing here. And I'm saying, you have to choose it. Everything's a choice. Pray, meditate. You got to eat, sleep. Yep. Eat, sleep, eat well, eat nutritious meals. Got to get your sleep. And here's the last one I'll add here is the balance. You've got to keep yourself balanced so that you don't burn out. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're doing. But these are just some of the things that you can do. And then, gratitude journals. And I forgot to add that in there, but practicing gratitude. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have done gratitude journals, but that's one way. Well, I mean, you don't have to do a journal, but you just need to practice gratitude. So you know, thanking the Most High for your situation, you know, thanking the people that help you out in your life, those kind of things. That's the way you can practice gratitude. But this is, this all kind of goes toward, positivity. Let's see if I can put this here. Hopefully it'll positivity. Yeah, you know what I mean? But that's where we are. Yeah. So these are just some suggestions, you know, and there's other things that you can do to make things work out. But this is what I'm thinking about. But let's see. Oh, we got Miss Anna. Hello. Oh, yoga. Love it. Yes. I love, yeah, yoga's great. And that really gets you nice and, I think the stretching really helps. A lot of people don't stretch. And when I was younger, that's all I did. I was doing yoga. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing because people weren't really doing it at that point. But that's, yeah, I love the yoga. Let's see. Oh, we got Steve and Tina Jewel. How was your day? Great. We're doing great. And thanks for the thumbs. Yeah. And he's saying, hello to beautiful people. Great. Yes. And Anna's saying, really hope you get thinking on things. Yeah. Oh, the yoga. Gotcha. Gotcha. Let me see. But these are just some of the things that we can do. Oh, we got Cicely Simmons. Hello. Yes. I love it. Good to see you. And the cats. Oh, okay. Yes. And cats are good. I think cats are hilarious, actually. Okay. What was she trying to sell? Suzanne's asking. Let me go back up a little bit here. Yes. Okay. So yeah, so it was a winery. And wineries, we have so many wineries around here, which we never had maybe 10 years ago. They're just popping up right and left. But that's what she was selling. And then, oh yeah, and then, let's see, Charlotte said yes. It's so the state makes all the money from alcohol sales. Virginia's the same way. Oh, see, I remember buying, because I lived in Virginia for a minute, but I remember being able to buy, wine and beer in like supermarkets and other stuff like that, which was nice. Like, it was convenient because like so in Pennsylvania, they have these, they call them state stores, and they used to be closed most time. Like the hours were really, really short. But I noticed now they're open on Sundays, which is very interesting. Because in the old days, they nothing was open on Sunday. We had the blue laws, in Pennsylvania. Yeah, and it's only been a few years since they've done that. Yeah. So let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, let's see. Charlotte saying, "Without my hobbies and cats, I'd be a worrying wreck." Yes, yeah. So definitely, if you are a religious or spiritual person, definitely praying, and and I have to say, the Muslims have this right. They pray throughout the day, multiple times a day. Now, of course, they have to do it at certain times, but I think that may actually get your mind right. I don't know. Like I always wonder. I said to myself, that praying throughout the day may be a good thing to try. Yep. So let's see. But yeah, but anyway, but this lady, like I said, she was so mean. And so anyway, so there's I'll give you a little background. So we have a lot of, I live in Pennsylvania, and a lot of New Yorkers in the last 25 years have moved here. And because it's, so the whole thing is, real estate is still relatively cheap in Pennsylvania. Not anymore, but it used to be really cheap. And I'll never forget, there was a guy on the radio when I used to listen to the radio, who was like a shock jock. He was a black guy, but he was a shock jock. And he moved from New York to this little town, Hazleton, Pennsylvania, which had nothing. Like I couldn't believe anybody in their right, like nobody in their right mind would move there, because there's nothing really at the time. There really wasn't anything there, but because they were off the highway, they would get a lot of New York. All of a sudden, like these New Yorkers started going in there, and I think the houses at the time were like $25,000, and they're just little, Oops, sorry, they're just little, you know, these little houses just like this. I don't know what you call these houses. These little A-frame houses, that everybody used to draw when you were a little kid. The little A-frame house. That's what it looked like, and it was probably 1,500 square feet. And people would buy these things. You could probably buy them up. You could probably buy up the whole street. We put the windows in, but I think this is what people did. They would buy these houses, and like I said, they were 20 grand. not long ago, 15, 20, 30,000 maybe. And people just like started moving in. And so we have tons of New Yorkers that have moved in. And in fact, I saw this article where they were telling New Yorkers to move to Philadelphia and buy these penthouse apartments because they threw up all these penthouse apartments, and they were like $1.2 million. And I'm going, are you kidding me? Like in Philadelphia, it was kind of the same thing. The houses were like 20, 30, 40. They were maybe a little more. And like all these people started moving in and buying all this real estate because they can't do it in New York, right? But that's what happened. And so unfortunately, a lot of New Yorkers are kind of negative. Not to put everybody in a bucket, but calling it is what it is, what I've seen, personal experience. That's what I've seen. So it was kind of weird. So this lady had that same attitude, you know. And when she said, "Oh, are you guys visiting?" I said, "Yeah, I'm local, but my friends are, from from Pittsburgh." And she said something like snarky about Pittsburgh, and then she like insulted me, and then my other friend. It was crazy. And I was like, "Lady, like I don't even know you," but it's like weird. This weird vibes from this chick. Yeah. So yes, it's very very interesting. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So that's why the Poconos. Yeah. So that's very interesting. So Suzanne said they were marketing the Poconos to New Yorkers not long ago. Well, it's interesting. That area. Well, ooh, not to bring up anything negative, but there's a serious uh let's see. There are a lot of absentee parents in that area because they're trying to live like a double life. They're living in New York City, but they're owning this real estate in Pennsylvania, which is like 100 miles away. And they're supposed to be coming home to check on the kids because they put the kids in the schools there. But these kids are all because they're unsupervised. They're being unsupervised and they're absentee parents, and there's like a whole behavioral situation going on in the Poconos. And I had one of the last areas that I had in my responsibility was the Poconos, and I got to see some of the fallout from that. Yeah, it was very very interesting. And because I worked in psych, and boy oh boy, yeah, there was a lot going on in the Poconos because of these people. It's very interesting. But anywho, there it is. All right now. But now it's Philadelphia, Center City, Philadelphia. That's what they're marketing to New Yorkers because it's expensive now to live there. But anywho, let's see. Oh, you have ABC stores. Okay, in Virginia. Nice. And oh, okay. Okay, and I love this, Charlotte. I have found that focusing my energy on helping others improves my attitude. I think that's a good one. I'm going to write that down. I love it. Yeah, yeah. So let's see. Volunteering. I'm going to put this in here. Volunteering. This is I can't spell. Volunteering. Donations. Yeah, and we talked about that before, making donations. Just helping others. Yep, helping others, is really good. Yep. So that's a good thing to do. Yep, yep, yep. Awesome. I like it. Yeah, so anything that you can do to get yourself in a good frame of mind. Yeah. And yeah, Tina, right. Like etiquette much? I know, it's crazy. Yes. And yep, there's that going on, and there's way even worse than that, Suzanne. Yep. Oh yeah, the woman, right? So I wish I could bring her to my channel and say you should come and hang out over here. Yeah. But it's interesting. But she said she's been here 30 years, but nothing has changed. Her attitude really hasn't changed. And her life is good. I mean, she made it sound like she was happy to be here and things like that. But I could tell there was definitely some edge. I don't know what was going on there. Yeah. So it's interesting. So once again, it's like if you're trying to, sell a product, promote a product, and things like that, you don't insult your potential oh my goodness, potential buyers. Oops, sorry, I keep hitting this. Potential buyers, because my friends had bought a bunch of stuff from all the other stands. They bought some from every other stand but hers, and she had no idea. Isn't that interesting? And they spent, double digits at each stand. And there's four of them, so they, three out of four, they purchased stuff. So that just goes to show you, you can't insult people. It's not appropriate, right? And then of course then you have to then you have to think about like what's the psychology behind that. I really, I guess people just, people say it's projection. They project whatever insecurities or whatever they're feeling. I don't know. I'm not sure what her deal was. But that's the attitude that I've always sort of met, not with all, but with a lot of people from that area. It's very interesting. Yep. So let's see. Yeah, Philly needs revitalization. That's true. Yep, and it's getting it. Yep. And then Renee's saying, trying to be for my family what I needed most takes almost all my time. Yeah, and that's a good point. And I think I may have overcompensated, not overcompensated, but I compensated for that too, Renee. Stuff that I didn't get, I always tried to give that to my kids, and other people's kids too. Yeah, for sure. But I like that. Oh yeah, and Tina said, "Oh, singing and dancing, I like it. Lifts the mood." That is so true. That is so true. And I have a little story I can tell you about that too. Oh yeah, and New York is not known for its hospitality. That's true. Yes, but one of the things that when I took some classes, like when I first got hired at my job, we went through all this training, and one of the things that they said was, if you're getting kind of low on energy, they said turn on the radio and just either sing and dance, sing, dance, and just give yourself like 5-10 minutes. So once again, it gets back to those breaks that you take in the middle of the day. Just get out there and move a little bit, even if you're, like maybe when you're at work, you don't want to get sweaty, but you want to move a little bit just to get that blood pumping. And I think that's good, Tina. So that's singing and dancing. And it's weird because he put on, when we were in this class, he put on a couple of different types of music. Like he put a like almost like a hymn on, and then he put on like a waltz. It was like a little bit of classical. Then he put on like a disco song, and it sort of was more like upbeat and a lot of bouncy. And then he put on like a rock song, kind of a rock ballad, and then a rock anthem and things like that. And it was really interesting, the different emotional emotional reactions from all the music. And that's the thing that they say, like, music can really uplift you. So you want to make sure that you listen to something really positive and not something really sad, and maybe something just a little more upbeat. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Yes. So, but that's a good one. And Tina said, let's see, what did she say? It could have been a Yoda mind trick sales tactic. I'm not sure. Yeah, that it was just very interesting. But my friends were like, "Let's go." I'm like, "Peace, let's do it." We just walked away. Yep. So yeah, so it's really interesting. So it got me thinking, like, yeah, you got to be more positive, and you just have to. I don't know. I hate to say do the right thing, but that's kind of what you have to do. You just have to, you know, you have to be respectful, and I guess that's what it is. And it's like a disrespect. And I don't know why. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason, right, to be disrespectful. Yes. And then, oh, Suzanne said, today's working world. Oh, I missed that. Hold on. Today's working world culture is so much more difficult than it was 10 years ago. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. And I know, for example, my parents did not have any issues at work. They went to work, did their jobs, came home. There was no demerits, write ups, people standing over your shoulder, breathing down your neck. I mean, it was very weird. And oh yeah, and oh, one other thing, and that's the other thing I wanted to speak to too, just real quick, is toxicity. You just want to avoid the toxicity. Let me see. I'm gonna write it this way. So you just want to avoid the toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Just like uh, Ghostbusters, toxicity. Yep. You want to just avoid that, and that's the thing that I think that just in life, you just have to get rid of that. You got to stay away from the toxicity, because people, that can really turn you toward the negative. You know what I mean? So anybody who has bad behavior like that, you got to run. At least that's me. You got to flee, 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 flee. Yes. And then Tina's saying, "Oh, AM radio. See, I haven't listened to that in a while. Has better frequency output. Interesting." And okay. And then Charlotte saying, "I've been temporarily banished from my kitchen because my daughter is doing the dishes. That is so much needed positivity. Oh my gosh. See, helping out each other. And that's like a whole thing, like being a team. That's so important, especially, within the family. Because I think a lot of people always end up having, it's usually one or two people or one person that does all the work, at least the physical stuff, the cleaning and stuff, cooking and cleaning. Like that's a lot of, takes a lot out, at least for me. I love to cook, but I'll tell you, after I cook a meal, I'm usually pooped because I've put so much energy into it. You know what I mean? But that's great. Your daughter's awesome. And then Renee said, "If I'm in a bad mood, my husband puts on red hot chili peppers. He knows I'll sing." Nice. So you need it. Yeah. And whatever it is that gets you out of the funk. Yes. Yes. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Tina. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Very good point. So she's saying that was respectful to yourselves when you all walked away. Yes. Because it's very, very interesting. Like I tried to give her a minute to straighten up, but she didn't. We were there about 5 minutes and I went, up, time to go. We gotta go. We all said, let's get out of here. Yep. But that's a big thing. And let me put that back up, Tina. So this is big. So if people are doing you wrong, you have to get out of there. I highly suggest it. Highly recommend it. Yes. So Bless said, sometimes you have to show people in a different way. Yeah. Oh, you have to show people a different way. Yes. But what's weird though, so Bless, I've been really kind of thinking about all this. It's interesting. I believe that. But then I also realized that once again it's always a choice. Like you can show people the way, but it's up to them to choose to do it. And that's the thing that I keep saying, it's a choice. It's a choice. They have to choose to do it. But yeah, you can do the right thing. Yeah, for sure. And hopefully they see that that's the right thing, right? Yep. Oh, so higher frequency with AM, she's saying, and then FM puts out lower frequency. Interesting. And then Charlotte's saying, doesn't happen often, but it's very appreciated when it does. Right. Yes, so her family's taking care of her. That's a good thing. You need that. You know what I mean? And I always say, don't be afraid to ask for support. And there's a Kyle. Whoops, missed this. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. How is everyone today? Yeah, we're doing great. So we're trying to get this week started out on a positive note, and that's where we are. So we're talking about things that we can do to help ourselves out to be positive. Now let's see. What did Renee say? You can't change people. That's right. Walking away is healthy for everyone. All right, now. There are some really unhappy people in the world and here on YouTube. Yes, that is true. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So blessed. I guess I was trying to, like, I don't want to say, oh, everybody's horrible and you got to walk away to every little thing. But I'll tell you, I think you can lead by example, but you have to remember that, yeah, it's definitely a choice. And there are a lot of people that just don't see that their behavior. So, and I think that woman, in fact, did not, she had no idea that her behavior was inappropriate, you know? And I don't know. You know what I mean? And I think if I had talked to her, would she have changed? I doubt it. I really do. Yes. And see, oh, Kyle's saying, I hope everybody's well. Yep. Nice. Exactly. And hey, and yes, and very true. Thank you. But that's where we are, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you really, these are things that you can do to take care of yourself. And I always say, don't be afraid to ask for help. And I didn't write that on here, but don't forget to ask for help if you need help. You know, sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need to say, hey, it's been a long day. I got too much going on. If you could help me with that, that would be awesome. You know, and sometimes two people can crank through some things, make things go quicker, right? Yes. Yes. That's true. Yeah, you can't change people. That's what So Blessed is saying. But you may influence them. Yeah. But her, I just let her go. I left her to her devices. I didn't say anything. But for me this was a good lesson for everybody today. Maybe because like I said, I didn't know this woman. So it's really weird. I was kind of like, I'm a random person. Will I change her mind if I make her feel bad? Because I really wanted to say, hey, you know, insulting potential buyers is not the way to sell your product. That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't. I said, you know what? I'm keeping that magic for the people on the I Bring It Every Day channel. Yep. I'm giving that nugget to somebody who will appreciate it, which is terrible, but that's kind of where I was at that day. Yeah. Yep. And we did leave, right? So we did speak to her without speaking to her. That's right. Yeah, because I'm sure she was probably head scratching, after we left for sure. And then Renee said, "Oh, her mama didn't hold her enough." Yeah, maybe. You know, it's interesting because, like I said, it's people who have children, and this is just something, just my little weird observation. I've been reading these biographies and watching these documentaries on random people, random famous people, and I noticed that a lot of people had what I would call horrible parents, just parents who didn't show them any love, which is really tragic. And like they say, hurt people. That is for sure. You know, and I always have to keep saying that to myself. It's not you, it's them. It's not you, it's because I'm trying to do no harm, and that's what I'm doing here. Yep, yep. And then So Bless is saying, in some cases, you really need to confront, check people, let them know it's not acceptable. That is true. That is absolutely true. Yeah, and I've done my fair share of that, but it's hard. I don't know. Sometimes that gets you into trouble. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like it can also go left, which is unfortunate, because I think as adults, like we should all be able to talk about things, in a calm and respectful manner. But there's some people you cannot talk to. It's very interesting without them getting violent or whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? Yes. Right. And that may be the case. Right. And I think so too. She may not have wanted your business. I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, you have to wonder. Yeah, you have to wonder. Don't I? I would love to get into the psychology of that whole interaction. That whole interaction was very interesting. Yeah. And oh, Renee, I love this. I'm all my kids and grandkids. LOL. I don't let go. Yes. So she's like that cartoon. What is that? I will hold him and squeeze him and call him George. That's what I think of with Renee. That cracks me up. Yep. And that's how she said that without saying that. Yeah, see, that could be it too, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, but like I said, there's a whole bunch of psychology behind that whole interaction, and it kind of left me baffled, But I said, you know what? I guess that's what had to happen, because I really think if we had purchased something from her, that would have reinforced her bad behavior. I really do. I really do. But getting in her face and arguing, I don't know. Like, and not saying you had to argue with her, but you know what I'm saying. I just don't think she was gonna hear it. She was just not in that space, Yeah. So it's interesting. And rub his fur backwards. Yes. I forget what that is. I will love him and squeeze him. So there's that. So anyway, but those were my thoughts for today. So like I said, this is today I had the positivity on the brain, and just wanted to think about ways that we can continue to be positive, because we've always been sort of pointing ourselves that way. But just remember, you don't have to be perfect. You do the best that you can, but at least make the attempt. And like I said, the whole thing is you got to choose it. You got to choose positivity, because you can really drive yourself down with the negative self-talk, with the negativity that other people might want to put place upon you, because that's the thing. You got to realize that there are a lot of people that don't mean you well, you know So you have to really give yourself that self care. Like you got to walk away from the madness. You got to get that exercise, get those hobbies in, pray, meditate, do that yoga, display the gratitude in whatever way you're going to do it, you know, and then take care of your body, eat, sleep, eat well, sleep well, get rid of all that trash food, I call it, try not to feed your body with that. Oh, because now, see, I have to find that article. Maybe I'll try to look this up but a couple, about 6 or 8 months ago, when I was cooking a lot on my channel, and I found this article, and I can't remember if it was JAMA. It might have been the Journal of the American Medical Association, but they were saying that processed foods, or it was either that or it was the England. It was the I forget how what is the name of the British. It's the British American Journal of Medicine. They talked about how um how highly processed foods make people more depressed or led to higher incidences of depression. So there was kind of a link between, eating junk food and depression. And I said, ooh, very interesting. But I never got a chance to follow up back on that. But do your research on that. And I'm sure that article will pop up. I want to say it was the British Journal. But yeah, let's see. Oh, of Mice and Men. Yes. Oh, Renee saying, yep. Yep. John Steinbeck. Yep. And then So Bless is saying, yep, walking away from her without a sale was the best you could do in the scenario. Yep, that's the only thing we felt like we could do. And my friends were ready to spend money. That's the kicker. Yep, they were ready. And see, they had the money to spend. They were ready to go. See, that's the thing that you never know. And I remember, thinking like I used to do sales. So they would say, try not to prejudge the person that walks in to buy your product, because the ones that you think are going to buy don't, and the ones that you think aren't going to buy are the ones that buy. And it's always, and you never can figure out that thing. Isn't that interesting? Yep, that's for sure. Yes, LOL. Tina's life quoted that cartoon oh so well. Yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. That was one of my that but that shows like sometimes you can give so much love. You know what I mean? Love, like love hurts. But I met somebody who was really really, I made a really famous person, and I was really shocked that this person was like a hugger. But they weren't just like a hugger, they were like their hugs hurt so bad, like they squeezed every bone in your body, even though you were like a random person. They would like hug, and I was like, ah. but I, but I'll tell you behind the scenes if you're interested. I'm not going to say who it is here, but if you want to know, just hit me up on my DMs and I'll tell you. But I met this person who was like a hugger, and it was surprising because it was somebody that you wouldn't expect to be a hugger, but they were. And they hugged the heck out of me and my husband and my daughter. So I was like, what the heck? It's crazy. But I think that's really interesting that this person was such a hugger, and that's so much love. I mean, they really had love to give. It's very interesting. Yeah, and you wouldn't expect it. Yep. Oh, Mr. Terry's here. Hello. Welcome in. Grand Rising. Thank you so much. And so that's where we are. And then here we go. Okay, Gulf Coast Granny, like that movie Pretty Woman when the sales clerk treated her badly. Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I'm telling you, if you prejudge who's walking in on your, you know what I mean? You could miss a sale. And I know this woman missed a $50 sale. She totally did. She totally did. Because they were ready to buy. They were ready to buy. Ready to buy. They would have bought whatever she had. But, you know, yep. See Mr. Terry saying, reminder viewers and subscribers of the YouTube channel, thank you. Please set an alarm on your cell phone for each of these wonderful, informative, and entertaining YouTube live stream broadcasts. Thank you. And please hit the thumbs up. I love it. It really helps this YouTube channel get a positive rating from the YouTube algorithm. Yep, it also helps with this YouTube channel's videos be exposed to more non-subscribers. Nice. Okay. And Charlotte said, I'm not a hugger at all. I wish I were comfortable being a little more affectionate. Yeah. And see, and it's probably what you learn from your family. Because I know, for example, my family was not, they were not huggers either. And I didn't like overly hug my kids, but I know I gave them probably more affection that they were than they were comfortable with. I didn't do anything crazy in public, but things like that. And yes, please hit the share button. I appreciate it. It really helps this YouTube channel's videos be exposed to social media networks. It also helps this YouTube's videos be exposed to more non-subscribers. Nice. Thank you so much. But yeah, I just think, it's funny. I think there is something to hugging though. If you have a positive vibe coming out of you, it kind of passes that on. And but yeah, it's interesting, the hugger. Yeah. But I just think it's weird when you hug people you don't know. That's the only thing. I'm kind of like, it's a little weird, but okay. Yes. Oh, so there you go. Yeah, see? And then Charlotte saying my family barely spoke to each other. Yeah, see, that's a big thing. That is so huge. So hopefully you're making changes, for your kids so that they understand that it's just like little things, to show you love them and things like that. And it's like it's really weird. Yeah, even if you put your arm on their shoulder, your hand on their arm or on their shoulder, like it just shows that you're like connected. And I think that was the big thing with this person. They were very connected with people. And so, yeah. You never saw your parents hold hands. Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah. Yes. Interesting. Oh, yeah, so that's big. Cuz it's like it shows a connection. You know what I mean? It really is. It's a connection. And but I think like and then the sad part is, COVID really scares people from even coming near each other, which I understand because that was scary. But I think people are definitely more standoffish as a result. But I hope that people get back, especially to people that they know. You know what I mean? Get back to holding hands. Interacting with each other. Yeah. And see, Renee saying it's important in my life to tell people that I love that they are important to me. Physical touch, not the weird kind, right? Is intimacy. Yep. You're built for that. Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Yeah. Like I said, it's, whatever's appropriate. Yes. And okay, Charlotte, I love it. Your poor kids are like, will she please stop talking? Talk to my kids nonstop. We talk about everything. No, that's good. That's good. No, you have to. Yeah, communication. That's a big thing, right? But like I said, you want to get rid of that cortisol because, like I said, I think it took me 5 or 6 years to get rid of that cortisol situation that I had going, and I really didn't know I had it until you look in the mirror and you go, man, I am just puffy. And it's weird. It just causes inflammation, in your body, when you just have way too much. And I see ads and stuff on, YouTube and social media and stuff like that where they talk about how to get rid of it. But yeah, you really want to have a nice balance. This cortisol really gets you, that fight or flight. Because then the problem is your poor body doesn't know when a real danger comes. And that's the other thing I meant to say. When you have too much cortisol, your body doesn't know, like when a real flight or flight situation comes, your body's not going to be prepared because it's constantly in that state. So you want to get rid of that. Yeah. Yep. Oh, yes, Jersey Steph. It is hot. I know. I'm dying. I can't wait. Like we were supposed to do some more yard work. We did our front yard. Oh my gosh. I think it's going to be another day. I'm going to have to wait because it was 84 this morning, which is pretty warm. But it'd be good to see you. Yes. Oh, that's good. Okay, no problem. But anyway, I just appreciate that you're here. You don't have to text. But yeah, thanks for coming in. And let's see. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yes. And Associate Minister Terry saying, I bring it every day is talking about PDA, public displays of affection. Yeah, so what's interesting is yeah, the PDAs are interesting. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't come from a family that did that. I know my mom when I was really young, she was a little kissy. But as she got older, she really wasn't doing and she was not real like social in that regard. I'm pretty much the opposite of my mom. But like I said, I met my husband and he's definitely more the PDA guy, than I am. But not like in a crazy way, but he usually like will just like put his hand on the back of my shoulder or on the back of my waist or something if we're standing there. But yeah, it's interesting, and it's all these. It's another thing. Like you have to sort of choose. Once again, it's like choosing, choosing to, just because you can communicate that way, without words. It's sort of like saying, "Hey, I'm here. I got you." And like that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. Yes, but it's really important. Like all these things, just to sort of take care of yourself and your people. And one of the ways that I used to show love, I don't cook as much anymore, but and I used to try to cook as many fresh, natural things just to kind of get some nutrition in our bodies because we got lazy. When our kids were in activities, we were running around and going to fast food and sort of just inhaling stuff. And I really got back to this. And like I said, oh, that is sweet and so important. Oh, thank you, Steph. Yeah. But the other thing was the sleep. Like I said, my one daughter, if she didn't get her sleep, she went mad. And I'm just going to put it that way. And I always knew when it was time for her to get out of there. Yeah, she would start to, get a little. Bleh. She would get, barky. She would bark. So we had to get rid of her. We had to put her to bed. And then also, just having balance. Like everything's balance. And I don't know how you do the balance, but I always say, like, if I get tired, I just rest. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take breaks. Sometimes you got to take little breaks in the action when you're doing work. Cleaning the yard out. We cleaned for about an hour and a half, took a little break, did a little bit more, then went inside and took a shower and relaxed. It was good. So there's all these things that you can do to take care of yourself. And it definitely helps you sort of keep going, in the right way, in the positive direction. Yep. Uh-oh. Can I get a whoa, Bundy? Kal-El, that's my favorite. I hate to say that. It used to be one of my favorite shows because they would just get into like the craziest stuff. Yeah. But anyway, good to see you, Kal-El. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's good. Oh, thank you. Yes. I bring it every day. It's talking about understanding a person's love language. Yeah. And that is really that is so huge, you know. And my husband's Spanish, so they kiss each other when they meet each other on the cheek, one on each side, you know, which for me was like, ah, but then you get used to that, you know what I mean? Yes. What do you do? What do you use to keep deer away? Oh, good question. Yeah, deer's tough. There's some stuff that they make, but I think I heard, I don't know if it's like hot sauce, like cayenne pepper spray. You can not pepper spray, but you make a little mixture. I want to say it was cayenne pepper. It kind of gets people away. And then allegedly they say marigolds. They don't like marigolds, but I swear to goodness, I've seen deer eat marigolds. Like stinky flowers. Like marigolds have a kind of a real bitter smell. There's some other stuff like that. Yep. Oh, your second fave. Okay, now what's your favorite sitcom, Mr. Kal-El? So Kal-El's a movie TV guy. La Familia. Yeah, that's a good one. But I love Whoa Bundy. See, like I said, that show was very inappropriate. But the one thing that they did was they had a strong family bond, even though they sort of, would insult each other for fun. But when it came down to it, they would always, work together, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. It's the Oh, marigold. Marigold's a flower. They're usually orange and yellow and sort of a reddish color. Let me see if I can find a marigold. But they're real smelly, and they keep other insects away too. I'm trying to think. Let me see if I can find a marigold here for you. Marigold. Yeah, they're nice, and you can find the seeds in the dollar store. I noticed that. Marigold. They're very smelly. And they stink, but they're pretty. See, that's the part that's funny. Let me see images. Here we go. Yep, here we go. So that's one there. You see those? There's different kinds, but these are the ones here are really smelly. And we used to put these in the garden. They'd keep out a lot of bugs. Yep. If anybody has any more deer stuff. But this is a different variety here. I've been seeing more of these. But I love these. I love these other ones. Whoops. because they're more like pom poms, and they're pretty, and they can get pretty big. But that's a marigold. Yeah. Let me see. I'll see if there's any anti deer. I'll try to look something up real quick. Remove. Let's see. Repel. What repels deer? Yeah, deer will eat everything. They really are. And I've had like my sister put in plants like flowers, and the deer ate them all. Oh, see, they have chemicals. We don't like that. Let me see if any of these other ones. Any other ones? Oh, sprinklers. Oh, they say motion activated sprinklers keep deer away. Nice. Oh, okay. Yep. So here it is. Deer resistant plants are lavender. Well, I didn't know that. See, I think lavender smells pretty good. So lavender, daffodils, and marigolds. Yep. And marigolds are really good. I think they smell terrible. Yep. And they say they don't like the taste or the smell. So you know what a daffodil is, right? You know what lavender looks like? Let me show you. Let me show you some. I'll do the daffodil. They're real tall, and they're grown with bulbs. How do I spell that? Daffodil. Let's see. So daffodil images. Let me see. So these are daffodils, and they usually grow in the early spring, like usually March, April, and those keep away the deer. So the marigolds, the daffodil, and they said lavender, and lavender is purple. Let me look at a picture here. Lavender, but I knew daffodils. They smell so bad. Like I never liked them because they smell so bad, but they're pretty. Yeah, see and it's this and lavender is a good thing for it's a medicinal. There's some medicinal with the lavender, but also it smells good, and they put it in soaps and stuff. But lavender apparently scares them too. There's a lot of lavender. We were at Lowe's, or that was Home Depot. They had a ton last week. That looked really good. But that's lavender. Yep. So those are good. So I was right. The marigold. Yep. Yeah, daffodil. Yep. So you're good. Oh, geraniums. Yes. Do you know what geraniums are, Kal-El? They keep bugs away. Similar smell. Oh, okay. See? Oh, okay. So let me see. Let me find a geranium. The geraniums tend to be red. Let's see if I can find one. Geranium. Yeah, these are good. And then for the mosquitoes, they have the citronella. Ugh, that's pretty smelly too. So yeah, these are the geraniums. Usually I see mostly the red ones, but there are some pink. I've never seen these purple, but yeah, very nice. That's the geranium. Very nice. Whoops, let me put that up there. Yep. Yeah, mostly the red I see. That's cool. Yep. So that's the geranium. Yep. And there's Renee's link there. Dill pickles. Yeah, daffodil. Yeah, daffodils are real tall, but like I said, they grow early spring. They kind of come in, and they're in and they're out so fast. By the time you get to enjoy them, they're gone. Yeah, they really like. In fact, this year they were only around maybe a week and a half. Yeah, it was kind of a short season for them. Yes. Oh, you like the camera angle? Oh, thank you. Yes. But that's it. Yeah, so that's good. So we got citronella. Yes, citronella. I have two citronella geraniums on your. Let me see if I can find you. See, I haven't seen a citronella. Let me see if I can see citronella. Oh, hold on, citronella. Yeah, that's one. They use that for the mosquitoes. So let's see, citronella. That's a good one too. Citronella. Now I've only seen green plants. I don't know if they ever flower. I don't think so. Nope. Let's see. Let me find an image. Yeah, it's got this real curly, really interesting pattern in the plants. Oh, these do have flowers. See, I didn't know that. See? I've only seen it look like this guy here, but apparently there's some flowers that are citronella. I didn't know that. Interesting, but it looks like this, and it's about $10 at Home Depot. We saw this the other day. It was like 14.95, but we were digging that. I told my husband, I said we're going to get some of this because we've been having mosquitoes everywhere. Yep. And then zinnias, those are pretty. Yep. My faves are zinnias. Deer love them. Okay, so we don't want that for Cal. Yeah, deer love them. Thankfully, I have no deer roaming around the beach. Oh yeah. So yeah. Okay, Miss Charlotte, you're making us feel very sad. I know. And then Cal saying, vanilla extract mixed with water, spray yourself, and it keeps the bugs. Are you sure vanilla? I'm thinking they're going to be like, okay, I'll have to try it. And you've never had mosquitoes. Yeah, you're lucky. Yeah, we just have, well, we had a pond. Ugh. Don't ever get a pond. It's so bad. Oh, but okay. So, Charlotte said she's going to try the vanilla extract. Yeah, she's never tried that. I'll show you a zinnia. Yeah, zinnias are gorgeous. But but Charlotte said deer like zinnia. See, that's a bummer. They are very pretty. Yeah, that is one of my favorites too. And I like nasturtium. And but those I haven't had those in a long time. And see, usually when you see the zinnias, they look like this. Let me see that. Yeah, look at that. And there's usually like a whole like walk area of these zinnias. They're gorgeous. Let me see. Oh, yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay. But yeah, deer like them, so you don't want that. Oops. There we go. Yeah, you don't want the zinnia. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous. Let me see anything else here. Look at the colors. Yeah, these are nice. Yep. But they're delicious to the deer. So you don't want them. Yes. Yeah, they're really pretty. And the bees might like the vanilla. See, that's what I was thinking, Cal. Yep. Oh, see, Cal said, I have a family of deer here. They're nosy, worse than a neighbor that wants sugar every day. Yes. Yes. Oh, and he's saying, Gulf Coast Granny, please do. Yeah, try it. Yep. That's cool. Yeah. So, yeah, deer are nosy. Yeah, we have one that looks in our window usually once a day. And it's been eating one of the trees. I'm just like, whatever. Whatever, dear. Just eat the tree. It's fine. But anyway, there's that. All right, so let's all challenge each other to be positive this week. Do some great things, and yeah, it's been fun. All right, now. But anyway, I'd like to say thank you all for coming in. It's awesome, and yes. Oh, bees hate peppermint. Okay, yeah, and I have heard that mint does drive out other bugs. Yeah, I forget which bugs, but just mint in general. Yeah, mint's a good one. You just have to keep an eye on them. Yeah, because they can really spread and go wild in the soil. Oh, and the other thing is be careful of bamboo. We have some neighbors that have bamboo that has like taken over their yard. It's terrible and not in a good way. Yep. Yes. Oh, Charlotte. I just see what she said. So take a whiz in the flowers, eh? Deer don't like human urine. Okay. Nice. Oh, rats. That's it. Thank you. Rats hate mint. I knew there's a reason why I like mint. Yeah, rats don't like mint. So if you want to get those little, yeah, we have those little field mice out there. Every now and again, I'll see one, and we have chipmunks too, which is like, oh my gosh, it's like go home because they want them. Everybody wants to like check and see what you're having out in the yard. They want to eat everything, and then we got bunnies, so you got to take care of them too. So I scared them away the other day. They were trying to eat my tomatoes. Yeah, I'm like, ah. So I'm trying to take care of all these things. Yes. Yes. And bamboo is awful for landscaping. Right. It's beautiful in the wild. And it grows crazy in Pennsylvania. So it's not it's definitely invasive. Yeah. Let's see. Oh no. Sorry. That the peace bill might make me stay away. That's what Cal L's saying. Yes. I I know that's right. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, snakes don't like mint. That's good because I'm scared of them too. All right. Surely. Nice. But Renee said she cleared out some bamboo leaves. 3 days of your son's yard. He had to dig a trench to stop it from taking up. Yeah, it really does. It goes crazy. And I forget what kind of bamboo. It's the one with the cane they use for the butt beating. That stuff can be like 8 feet tall. I have seen it so tall. So my neighbors down the street have this crazy bamboo, and I look at it and I go, that is never going away. Like it is so tall, and it's probably half the length of the yard. Like they really need to get that removed because that's never going away. But anyway, there's that. Yeah, that stuff is no joke. But I think that is hilarious. Kal El. Kal El's my bud. He's been cracking me up. Yes, I love it. All right, y'all. Well, listen, thank you so much for popping in and humoring me in my madness. It's all good. Yes, yes. But like I said, just keep the positivity going. Do the best you can. Some days it's hard. I know. I'm with you. But bamboo, is that your ex or something? No, bamboo, like from, is that from China? Yeah, that stuff is really bad. It's gorgeous, and it's good. Like you can make nice wood out of bamboo, but it's very invasive and it just does not go away. And I've heard somebody told me, it was somebody on YouTube, they said when they dug in their yard, because they had bought it. So what happened was they bought a house, it already had bamboo in it, and I think the roots were like halfway across the yard. Like the bamboo was on one side of the yard, but the roots reached almost halfway through the yard. And she said if they hadn't cut that out, it would have been worse. Like, what I mean? It just takes over everything. So that's the thing. You got to really be careful with those plants that you put in. Yes. 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 Singapore cane stick. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. But and if you tend to it, yeah, it's pretty but high maintenance. Yeah. And see, people don't. All right, Suzanne, we'll see you later. And have a good evening, good day. But hugs everyone, even you, Charlotte. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I think I missed something, Renee. Yeah, the Singapore cane stick. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Yeah, but that stuff, and it's big. And I see why they use it for what they use it for. Because that is no joke. Yeah, big problem if you have turf. Really? Okay. That's funny. All right. Well, listen, we'll see you soon. And yeah, it's bingo time. I don't do the bingo, but I know a lot of people do the bingo. But anyway, have a good one, and we'll see you soon. And it's crazy. It's crazy out here. But don't let the crazy people take you away from this. That's the final message. Just stay there whenever you can. Yes. All right now. Okay. Take care and peace and love. And thank you so much from the I Bring It Every Day channel. Bye bye.